All right, I'm just going to keep it a buck and address this right now, man. If you're one of my fans, bruh, you can't be doing this. Don't do this, man. This is just ignorant and foolish. Welcome to Pegasus vs. the World, where I take on challenges, trending topics, a little bit of comedy, and travel.
City boy! City boy!
All right, you guys, I'm just going to keep it a buck because that's just what I do. I'm a man. That's just what it is, man. This shit is not. First of all, this just makes me look bad. You know, this is out of my control. I don't know this person at all, but I'm just going to. King Dada posted this yesterday. I'm glad my fam and supporters wouldn't say something like this. BP got some weird supporters, right? And he got a comment. And basically this person be like, hold on. For some reason, I can't figure out how to pull it up fully on here. And I want to read this because this type of shit is just uncalled for, and it's not like I do not co-sign. This is bullshit. That's what this is. And sometimes you just got to nip it in the butt and just let people know where you stand because people get kind of wavy on the interwebs. So let me just pull it up and read what it says exactly. Because for some reason, I can't click on it like this. But when I click on it right here, the full picture opens up. So it says, BP owned you the same way my ancestors owned yours. Stick to the begging for money online. Rapping is not your bag. So it's weird because we're in a time of like in this, and he put the picture of the dude, right? Look, we're in this weird woke time. I'm not a person to cancel people for what they say. I don't agree with what he said here, right? But I'm not going to cancel him for saying it. Like if he was, this is like a premise, like when comedians roast people and do some crazy stuff, that's where you get this type of stuff. I don't know this dude's sense of humor, but off of first read, I'm just like, I mean, in a way he's dissing me. Like, bro, I'm black and Mexican, right? And we know why the joke is signatured this way. I'm not cool with it. I don't co-sign this type of behavior. I got wavy in the battle. I say crazy, wild stuff, but there's lines that I draw personally just out of like the way our society's driven. And, I don't know. This just is something that like, if you're a fan of mine, I just want to be public and be like, I don't co-sign stuff like this. Like you could clown, bro, we're clowning the homie looking like Whoopi Goldberg. You know, I did the Shrek, Wyclef, Lil Wayne bar. Like we are clowning, we are roasting, but this type of stuff is just ignorant. And let's just keep it a buck. Let's keep it a buck for a second. This kid, right, just because he's white, he's saying, yo, my ancestors, but without a lineage test, first, we don't know. I don't know if I'm a descendant of slaves. I haven't done my 23andMe. We don't know if Dada is a descendant of slaves. Every black person wasn't a slave, and every white person wasn't a free person, right? Wouldn't that be some right? If his ancestors were actually slaves, Like everyone had slaves in the world. Like it's crazy. The word slave comes from Slavic, S-L-A-V, Slavic, right? So it's just like this dude saying this crazy shit. And some black folks had slaves. The thing I learned in the last 5 years, because I never knew this, Native Americans had slaves. Don Cheeto's family was owned by Native Americans. Like I saw it on YouTube. I was like, no way, on the History Channel. And I was like, the History Channel YouTube thing. And I was like, bruh, so this conversation is more complex than this, but this type of roasting in a racial way where you're like trying to push this narrative, I'm like, first and foremost, like if you know anything about history, like not everyone owned slaves in America. It was an elite class of people. And this is the type of divisive stuff people can say and do to divide, which gives the ruling class more power, because the division through color, the division through a bunch of things, it's not only white men running everything, right? I get it. There's a lot of white dudes who's running shit. And I get it's easy to be like, yo, they're the evil, blah, blah, blah. But when you really look at the world for what it is, there's a ruling class. And it's not just what you think, right? And I'd have that conversation right here and now, but I'm not trying to get banned from YouTube, okay? That conversation is deep. And, you think about some of these oil sheiks, like there's people with so much money it's not even above ground how wealthy they are, like especially in the Middle East, right? So when you only think certain type of people have power and only certain type of people had slaves and all this stuff, it's a misconception, it's misdirection, and it's just not accurate, right? This is just, for me, when I see this, and I'm not woke. If he would have said this to me, now Dada, I feel like is trying to take this angle because I've noticed some of his fans are like, yo, Pegasus is a MAGA supporter and all this crazy stuff. And it is what it is. It is what it is. But what I will say right now and right here is that this is a power play for the ruling class. This is what the ruling class wants. They want someone to say something ignorant to trigger someone on a racial divide, right? And even with me, like if this dude would have said this to me, I would just laugh at it and keep it moving, right? I'm like, yo, I know how people are. And me being mixed, right? Like I've seen both sides, right? Like, my a Spanish side, part of, I'm just going to keep it real. Like I've been disowned because of my father, my black side at times, from certain people. And then also with my Latin side, like ain't no essays like, órale ese vato. They don't think I'm Mexican, bro. They ain't looking at me. They're like, he black, And it's just one of these things where it's like, I've been called the N-word. I've been called the mixed breed N-word, the S-word that's referencing Latin people. And it don't matter, bro. I'm from the 90s. I was born in the 80s, but the 90s was just a time where you're like, like someone call you the N-word, and then you throw the C word back at them, like, and you just, it just, I don't know why we're so polarized in this moment in time, because I came up in a different era, and bro, it was cool coming up. And I have more black friends than anything, in the sense of like a lot of my friends were light skinned too. Like, you know how that is. It's just kind of funny. So like when we had a white boy in the crew, it was like they kind of stuck out. But I just remember that era of like where it didn't really matter as much. You know what I'm saying? Me and all my homies were just like, nah, the white boy's cool. Da 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 da. And Don from my show is that white boy, even though he's mixed Mexican. So it's just funny how things play out. But I just wanted to say that right here and right now. That shit ain't cool to me. I don't approve of this messaging. But at the same thing, I'm not trying to I'm free speech. If he wants to say it, say it. Go ahead. I'm just saying like, yeah, I'm just telling y'all I don't agree with that, but I'm not telling him not to say that necessarily. It's weird because I'm like, don't do that. If you're my fan, don't say that. I feel weird about saying that because I'm just trying to raise the consciousness, right? But I am a free speech absolutist. I rather know my enemy than not. I rather know what people really think than not, and I think people need to be able to speak freely. That's how homeboy feels. Now you know a little more about him, right? I don't feel that way. And again, without these deep lineage ancestral tests, you don't like. We're all probably linked back to some type of slavery other than these crazy royal bloods in the ruling class because they tried to keep their bloodlines so pure. But we're not going to get into that too crazy here. But yeah, man, like mother effers were slaves, bro. A lot of mother effers. And what's funny is you don't know, like, man, when you go back to the Vikings and Genghis Khan and, bro, the Egyptians, the Pharaoh, American slavery. I mean, even the dispute with Japan and China. You're like, bro, there was so much the human experience is so vast. We, for some reason, can't get along with each other. And I am the germination of, yo, can we all just get along? You know what I'm saying? I got so many things running through my bloodline. And I should do that. I should find out more about my history personally. My dad didn't know his father. You know what I'm saying? And he was a good dad and stayed there for us. So I respect my pops, but he didn't know his dad. So I don't have all this history on like where my dad came from, who was his dad, etc. So, it's interesting how these things play out. But I didn't like seeing this. I don't like how it's also aimed like, Dada's taking an angle and basically trying to say that, my fans are this way because I'm this way. That's what he's inadvertently saying, and I'm not. But, I'm only addressing this because certain things I think are important to address. And this is like where like if people start dogpiling and doing stuff like this, I'm like, bro, you can't be my fan doing this, man. It's just not even possible. Because, I mean, you're trying to take slick shots at him, but inadvertently it hits me too. Like you're trying to say black people were enslaved by white people and you owned him like that. That's what you're saying. And I'm black. So it's just like, bro, but I don't care. I think the shit, I'm like, yo, this dude's clowning. This is crazy. Like, why would you say this? But again, I think it's worth being addressed on some man shit. But hey, it's going to be what it's going to be. I can't control people, but I'm just letting the people who really do rock with me, you know, sometimes when you do something like this is a reflection of me now. You put my name in it. You said BP owned you, da-da-da-da. And, you know, I'm just coming out addressing it. But I ain't really tripping like that, man. I just figured I'd put it out there. You guys let me know. Like, I'm doing this off the cuff. I didn't even think about it in depth. I just saw this last night before I went to bed. And I was like, I'm going to address this tomorrow because this type of shit, you know the internet, man. I'll see y'all later.
City boy, city boy.